Topic: Direct and indirect speech. English language has two ways to narrate the spoken words of a person. First, being the direct speech, and second, the indirect speech. Now, when you have a statement or somebody asks you a question, what did he say? You can repeat or you can give an answer, right, in two ways. One is by repeating the words in direct speech or by reporting the words. So let's look at that in detail. What is direct speech? Now, direct speech, it repeats or it gives the exact words of what is being spoken about, or you talk about that in quotes, right? So in direct speech, the words spoken are between quotation marks and there is no change. You report them as it is in the same way and you use quotation marks. Something that's being said now is being reported, right? So somebody's talking about something and you want to go ahead and report that or pass on the very same message to somebody else, right? Or you're talking about it to somebody else. Then what do? You use the reportive form of speaking. Hence, you can either directly repeat what was just said or you can report what was said to the other person or wherever needed. Example, this is the reporting part, right? So the statement is, she says, what time will you be home? Right? So this is the direct speech of reporting. You are conveying the message from one person to another. This example is the conversation. The first person, she says, what time will you be home? She said, right? It's in the first person tense. And the response is, I do not know. Or it's not just conversation. Direct speech could also be in terms of exclamation or just making statements, your imperative statements, your interrogative statements, your declarative statements. Direct speech could be in any of these statements. So if it is an exclamation mark, this is how it goes. There's a fly in my soup, screamed Sita. Or Arjun said, there's an elephant outside the window. So you understand the difference? It's not just in simple talking or even when you're making statements, you can use either direct or indirect speech. Let's understand what indirect speech is. Indirect speech is when you are reporting what was just spoken about to another person. It's usually done in past tense. In indirect speech, the tense of the words are changed. So you use reporting verbs like say, tell, ask. You may also use word that. You can add the word that to introduce these reporting words. And in the case of indirect speech, inverted commas are not used. She said, I saw him. This is in direct speech. Now, how do you convert that into indirect speech? She said that, right? Because say is your reporting verb. She said that she had seen him because it will be in past tense. Sometimes the word that may also be omitted. Let's look at the statement. She told him that she was happy. You can write it as she told him she was happy. It still means the same. It still makes sense. So accordingly you may write or include the word that or you may not include it. Let's understand the usage of say and tell. You use the word say when there is no indirect object, right? And for example, He said that he was tired. There is no object here, right? So you'd say, you'd use the word say, and you will always use the word tell when you say who was being spoken to, right? So you'd say, he told me that he was tired. So if there is an indirect object involved, that is when you use that. If there is no indirect object, you use the word say. Let's understand the difference between, or usage between, talk and speak. Now both these verbs are used to describe the action of communicating. So you'd say he talked to us, or she was speaking on the telephone, right? So you use these verbs with about to refer what was just said. He talked to us about his parents. So both of them are all right, and both of them are used to describe the action of communicating. Let's look at the rules to convert direct speech to indirect speech. First one, the conversion rules as per the reporting verb. When the reporting or the principal verb is in past tense, all present tenses of the direct speech are changed into their corresponding past tense. For example, the direct speech statement says, he said I am unwell. Said is in past tense. I'm sorry, am is in your present tense. So what would you change it to? You would say, he said that. You may or you may not use. That's why you have the word that in brackets. You would say, he said that he was unwell. So here your reporting verb is in present tense, am. You would change it to past tense, was. So he said I am unwell will turn to he said he was unwell. You may or you may not use the word that. If the reporting verb is in present or in the future tense, then the tense of the direct speech do not change. For example, if the direct speech sentence says, he says, I am unwell. Or in future tense, he will say, I am unwell. It will be the same, right? It will be, he says, he is unwell. He will say, he is unwell, right? So, the tense will not change if the reporting verb is in present or in the past tense. But what happened here? Said is the reporting verb in past tense, right?